save drivers roughly 18 cents a gallon, but it would cost the federal government about $500 million each week.
We're learning more about a horrific discovery at a rail yard near the southern border.
6 people were found dead in a boxcar on a Union Pacific freight train in Laredo, Texas, just across the Rio Grande River from Mexico. Joe Baza is with the Laredo Police Department.
An autopsy will probably take place as to determine the cause and manner of the death of the victims in this case.
It's unclear if other people were found alive in the train car. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
2 Miami police officers are suing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck over their hit Netflix movie The Rip, about a couple of cops who cash in on a drug raid. CBS's Carter Evans from L.A.
The plaintiffs, Jason Smith and Jonathan Santana, are never named in the film. They claim their portrayal in the movie implies, quote, misconduct, poor judgment, and unethical behavior in connection with a real law enforcement operation, including an insinuation they pocketed money from seized funds.
It's not only about fun and games. New guidance from the American Academy of Pediatrics says playground time is crucial for the health and good grades for kids of all ages. It comes after years of shrinking recess periods and a rise in childhood obesity rates. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Y'all came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
7:03, at least it's a beautiful sunny start to a Monday morning. The traffic, Sully, not so much.
What again are our gas prices?
They're $4.56,
They're pretty expensive, like about 5 something. Because you're just watching it evaporate.
Oh, in Seattle.
On northbound I-5, that's what I mean. On northbound I-5, traffic alert in effect because of this car fire has basically blocked the entire freeway for about an hour. Good news is all but the HOV lane have reopened now. So certainly some positive news. The backup is now about 4.5 miles. It got up to 6+. And for a while, we were rolling at an hour from Tacoma to Federal Way. Let that sink in. That's about a 45-minute delay. It's still about 50 minutes. It's not pretty out there, but we should be getting better. All the side roads, 99, 509, are caught up in this as well. Don't take 99 to try to get up into Federal Way. You'll just lose as much time there sitting. A lot of people on 512 going that direction when they wouldn't normally, and so it's backed up. You're losing about 15 minutes trying to get into Puyallup from I-5. And then the Valley Freeway is not bad, about 45 minutes. Rented to Bellevue, a half an hour. Federal Way to Seattle's manageable, under 45 minutes because everyone's trapped. Do not go on 509 northbound 99 across the First Avenue South Bridge. Signal is malfunctioning at the north end at East Marginal Way. Only about 20 to 25 cars are getting through each cycle. That's not enough. Out of the north end, we're about an hour from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance, considering a new Lennox cooling system before the summer. Get price estimates on your phone in 60 seconds. Home Comfort Alliance, homecomfortalliance.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from Eastlake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:05. A student has been found dead inside a University of Washington off-campus apartment building.
Police say she was discovered in the laundry room, and police are still searching for the suspect. We get the details live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
It happened in the Nordheim Court Apartments, just on the backside of the Creighton Barrel there at U Village. Crime scene investigators are still there now processing that scene. Here's what Detective Eric Munoz told KIRO 7 TV.
She is a 19-year-old woman, and she is deceased. This is very difficult for all of us, especially here with campus police and our police officers. This is a 19-year-old student that was murdered, and that's a horrible day for all of us.
Munoz says that she was a transgender student, but they're not saying just yet how she was killed. They're not releasing a motive for the murder either. The first 911 call came in a little after 10 o'clock last night. An alert then went out to students about 10:42. We have a copy of that we can show you, right here on our YouTube feed if you're watching. There it is. It says UWPD investigating possible homicide in Nordheim Court 7 laundry room. Imagine you're sitting at home studying on a Sunday night and you get that popped up on your phone. That's scary. It also says that the apartments, the apartments are mostly filled with, I should say, international students as well as grad students. The suspect now, let's talk about the description. 5'6", 5'7", with a slim build, black hair and a beard, police say. Last seen wearing a button-up shirt and a dark blue vest. Important information there, descriptive, because if you see anyone or you remember seeing anyone in that area, again, near U Village last night, call 911. UW is also offering a number of resources for students. We've got a full list on mynorthwest.com. It's not just for students and teachers, it's for anyone really. Yeah. Sad news out of those UW apartments where a 19-year-old student was murdered.
Luke Ducey reporting live. It's 7:07.
Police are also investigating a homicide in North Seattle after a young man was shot and killed at a popular tap room on Lake City Way Saturday.
Seattle police said an employee at the Growler Guys at 85th and Lake City Way was found dead inside the business Saturday morning. KIRO 7 News reporter Jack Bilyeu has more.
Clearly, the young man who was killed was very, very loved. Seattle police say an employee arrived at the tap room and called 911. Investigators say that employee found a coworker dead with multiple gunshot wounds.
It's an incredibly traumatic thing. I can't even imagine what the family and what this area is going through. This is like a neighborhood staple. It's a very well-known, respected place.
As Detective Eric Munoz, police have not ID'd or arrested any suspects. You're asked to call the Violent Crimes Hotline if you have any information.
Protesters made a lot of noise in one of Seattle's wealthiest neighborhoods Saturday. They want all medical helicopters allowed to land at Seattle Children's Hospital. The Seattle Times reports a policy from the early 90s only lets the most critical patients fly directly in. Otherwise, helicopters land about a mile away and an ambulance finishes the trip. The city, the hospital, and Laurelhurst Community Council said Friday they do support lifting that restriction. The council was set to meet today, but according to its website, that meeting has been postponed.
For over 50 years, this is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, welcome. It's Monday, May 11th, a beautiful sunny start to a Monday morning. Wish the traffic was a little better.
Yeah, it's not. Ask Sully. He's not happy today.
Sully has been over here in the studio, just shaking his head, and he's going, "Why aren't they? Why don't they do this?" And you're keeping it rather professional on air. We appreciate
that's
that.
Right.
Value.
I just feel bad because I'm empathetic for our drivers.
Yeah.
Or for people in transit in their buses trying to get where they need to go and they can't. But not a lot you can do with the way things were with this car fire and the traffic malfunctioning, signals malfunctioning. By the way, the cycle looks like it is fixed now at East Marginal Way in the last couple of minutes. We'll have more for you on that in traffic, but yeah, rough day.
Okay, well, a busy hour in front of us. We have CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Look at how the conflict in Iran is impacting the markets and also how college graduates can navigate job hunting.
And how about your 7:35 commentary?
Yeah, our state's spending machine is losing some of its biggest cogs. We're talking tech jobs and how that might affect the rest of the economy around here.
It's 7:09. 2 people are in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a Sunday morning apartment fire in Sammamish. We get more from KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman.
Fear out of nowhere.
No, there's no alarms going off. Nobody knew that this is happening.
As flames rose sky high at the Madison Sammamish apartment complex. Eastside Fire and Rescue say a total of 6 units were damaged.
It's fair to say that those 6 units the occupants have been displaced.
I'm concerned about the other people, their well-being, their dogs, their lives are completely upended right now because of this.
No word yet what started that fire.
Snohomish County deputies are investigating after 3 cars were stolen. One crashed in Bellevue. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Sun reports this happened around 2:30 yesterday afternoon.
Snohomish County deputies tell us they saw the 3 stolen vehicles near State Route 9 and Maltby Road. One of those vehicles was involved in a carjacking earlier in the day in Woodinville. Another was stolen in Monroe. All 3 vehicles took off when they saw deputies coming. The deputies started chasing, and one of those vehicles exited the highway and ended up crashing into another car. The suspect ran away and is still on the run. They have since found the other 2 vehicles crashed and abandoned, one of them in Bellevue, the other in Pierce County. As of now, none of the suspects have been found.
Washington's Public Lands Agency is running low on cash, and the finger pointing has begun. The Washington State Standard reports a key Department of Natural Resources account is expected to go negative by midsummer. That account funds land management and pays hundreds of employees.
The Coast Guard cutter Storis returned to its home port of Seattle this weekend after a 36-day, 4,800-mile mission into the Bering Sea. The 360-foot ship is the first icebreaker to enter U.S. military service in more than 2 decades. Its 4 22,000-horsepower diesel engines can cut through 3 feet thick ice. The vessel spent the last month testing his capabilities and doing first-of-his-kind refueling exercises with another Coast Guard ship.
Woodland Park Zoo is on baby watch. 2 western lowland gorillas are due to give birth this month, just 5 days apart. The zoo says Olympia's due date is May 19th. Jamani follows May 24th. Volunteers are watching the moms-to-be 24/7 on cameras inside their bedrooms. Keepers on call overnight in case either one goes into labor. Both gorillas have had babies before, but this will be the first time becoming a dad for Silverback and Nadaya. The zoo says ultrasounds show both babies are growing just fine.
Do you suppose Nadaya is like pacing around a waiting room?
Probably.
Maybe, and he's got the cigars ready to bust out once he finds out if it's a boy or a girl he's going to share?
Beating his chest, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If Bugs Bunny cartoons have ever told me anything, that's exactly what's happening. Right there.
7:12 now. Let's get a check on the weather. Nick Allard, meteorologist, KIRO 7 TV. Hey, if it were only today and tomorrow for the forecast, you'd be a hero to us all.
Well, I agree. I should still be in the eyes of many. I don't know why, but I'm going with it. The idea today is just mostly sunny skies. Looks beautiful, but tomorrow is going to be warm to hot. Just a lot of cloud cover. Tomorrow, you're not going to see a lot of sunshine. I think it's more like, filtered sunshine, high clouds, and then upper 70s. But today, mostly sunny at about 70. Tomorrow is partly to mostly cloudy at about 79 to 80. Be a little breezy in the foothills. And then that's going to lead to maybe some showers overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, and possibly even some isolated thunderstorms, and some of that lasting into the Wednesday morning commute. More rain than thunder, but still that chance is there. And then you're much cooler. We're in the upper 60s Wednesday, low 60s Thursday, and right around 60 the rest of the week. Wednesday will have a few showers. Thursday, not many, but Friday's wet, and Saturday kind of wet with scattered showers. You get a dry day this weekend, though. It's Sunday in the low 60s with some sunshine. So I'm not really expecting the best after this, but yeah, we get warm today and warmer tomorrow. We just don't see a ton of sunshine tomorrow is the thing.
Nick, you don't know what it's like being here with us right now with Sully. He is singing Thunderstruck. You're talking about the...
Is he wearing his thunder shirt for when he gets nervous? He puts it on like my dog used to. Just swaddle him.
Neurotic Chihuahua, Chris Sullivan.
Yep, that sounds right.
Swaddling sounds pretty good. Right
55 and mostly
creepy.
Sunny in Seattle.
That is kind of creepy, isn't it? All right, it's 7:13. That is time for traffic. And boy, what a mess. I think it's making you crazy.
Yeah, it's been a rough day already, and we're only 3 hours into our work week, really, with our commute starting at 4:35ish or so. We start with the car fire on northbound I-5 in the Fife area. All but the HOV lane has reopened through the scene, but for a while, basically the freeway was shut down for almost an hour, and so we're backed up to about the Highway 16 interchange, and then off and on as you work your way past the scene. There's still plenty to look at there, so I get it, but a 55-minute trip from Tacoma to Federal Way is a 40-plus minute delay through the area. And as you would imagine, everyone who can is trying to get off at 7:05 to take 509 or take 99 to try to get through the Port of Tacoma area to work your way up into Federal Way that way. And that's a no-go either, because all of that, it's just filled in. It can't handle the capacity. A lot of people have headed over to 512, and it's now bumper to bumper from Canyon down all the way into South Hill. But the good news is the travel time from Puyallup to Renton is only 45 minutes. The positive news is that Federal Way to Seattle's under 45 because everyone's kind of been trapped down in Tacoma. Renton to Bellevue's under a half an hour. Looks like the signaling has returned to normal on northbound 99 across the First Avenue South Bridge. For most of the morning, the signal at East Marginal has only been letting a couple of cars through at a clip. Looks like that's been taken care of. Coming down from the north end, you've got about an hour drive from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. No shocker there. One thing to keep in mind, where construction is running way late in Kirkland, and that interchange at 405 and 85th remains closed. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
Every Monday, we call up CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger to break down the big economic stories of the week.
Jill, we are still seeing fluctuations in the price of oil as gas continues to spike throughout the U.S., and President Trump rejected the Iranian counterproposal for peace over the weekend. So what are we seeing in the markets this morning?
Well, I mean, we are looking at mixed markets. Obviously, every single day, it feels like we're getting whipped around, and I think that it is important to understand that, nothing's really changing until we have a deal in place. So one day it's going to be, let's buy stocks and sell oil because we have a deal. And then the next day it's like, no, the deal was rejected. Now sell stocks and buy oil. So All that being said, you don't have to do anything because you are a long-term investor. I know. I hear from you all the time. So if that's the case, what I really want to be clear about is that try to tune out the noise. It's okay to tune in, but as far as taking the information and doing something with it, don't do that.
I went out on a road trip this weekend, Jill, and the gas prices really hit me hard.
Oh, man.
When do you think people are really going to start getting increasingly concerned about this?
I think everybody is concerned about this. I'm looking at, $4.50. What do you guys are up above $6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, listen, this is a real number. It's probably not quite as high as it was in 22, which was when we tipped the highest point nominally, meaning if you don't adjust it for inflation back in 22. It's weird because all these price increases, we are starting to hear from people who say, it hurts and I'm going to change or I'm doing something different, but we're not seeing so much evidence of them changing in the numbers. So what we do know is when you look at kind of the way people have been spending money, it is possible that we are seeing sort of this divergence, okay? So we know that people were able to absorb these first couple of months because they had tax refunds, and that was very helpful, right? But now they're kind of working their way through those tax refunds, and we got analysis from the New York Federal Reserve that found that lower to middle earning households, they define that as $125,000 a year or less nationally, that those folks have been cutting back their driving. They have been carpooling or substituting public transportation where it's available. It's a real question. This week is going to be a very important week. We're going to see some retail sales numbers, but I don't know. It's weird. Like last week we had earnings from, say, McDonald's and Whirlpool and Kraft Heinz, and they kind of said we didn't really see a huge change in the first quarter because the war started right at the very end of February. But they're warning that they're more cautious going ahead. So I think that we are likely to see these prices come down slowly. I always say this, but it is true that when you look at gas prices, those prices take the elevator up and they take the stairs on the way down.
Jill, there was a nice surprise from the latest April jobs report, and your latest blog post on JillOnMoney.com is titled Job Market for New Grads. Should grads be feeling optimistic?
Well, they don't. So there's that. There is a pretty widespread pessimism, actually. And we just got a report out from Gallup this morning that showed that those young college grads are feeling very pessimistic about the job market. The report was better than expected. We definitely, 115,000 jobs is good. The unemployment rate of 4.3%. Under the hood of that report, it's not quite as good because we have two big groups of people that can change how the labor market feels. We have a whole bunch of people who want full-time jobs, but they can only find part-time ones. Then we have a whole bunch of people who are so discouraged, they're like, I got to take some time off. I've been scouring and looking for a job. I'm not looking right now. Or maybe they're going to think about going back to school. When you add all those people in, it's not quite as rosy. And for those college grads, recent college grads, I think we've talked about this before, their unemployment rate is pretty high, 5.5% or so. That's high. I just said that the overall unemployment rate is 4.3%. And if you've got a college degree, the unemployment rate is much lower, at the low 3% level. So if you think about it, a recent college grad having a 5.6% unemployment rate is bad. And it's bad because those people are trying to get the entry-level positions that the new grads are trying to get. So there's a lot of competition out there, and that is feeding into a doom loop among these folks.
I'm seeing some skepticism. I have a high school senior. I'm seeing other friends who have kids around the same age. They are increasingly skeptical of going to an elite four-year university and plunking down $100,000 a year on this. Is there still a value in going to one of these expensive colleges?
It really depends on what you're trying to achieve, okay? So let's be clear about this. If you are going into a field that requires a college degree, yes, you obviously have to, right? We know that, but that doesn't mean you go into debt to get there. I think that this is a much smarter generation about who is going into a field and what they hope to expect. That's important, right? And so when we look at that, I would say that a college degree is worth it because you make more money. We know that evidence is that you make more money over the life of your career for having that college degree. The gap between having it and not having it has narrowed some. It really has. So it's an advantage. It's still not the only thing. And I think it's important for us to be clear that, everyone who says, "Oh, I want to go to this school," like it should almost be a family decision about what is the most affordable way to get that degree that is going to financially pay off for you. I don't think it makes sense that so many people are kind of going into these, like they're plowing through their retirement, or they're saying, I'm going to pull back on my retirement contributions while my kid's in school. I just don't think that's a great idea. So yeah, I think a college degree is worth it. Going into debt to get that college degree, not so much.
Jill, do you have advice for people in their 20s and 30s looking for jobs right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, first of all, use every human being that you know. And the human connectivity is so important in the age of AI to try to lift your resume out of this sort of this loop of going through filters. So I really have no shame. Your family, your friends, your friends' friends, your friends' friends' friends, all of that. Just anyone you know at an organization where you are applying for a job, tap that person, see if they know somebody, see if they can get your resume. And you say, oh, I applied. Let me forward my resume to you, that you can forward it to the person who might see it. That's really important. Do those practice interviews. And I know it's hard. Listen, the way that we're hearing from people right now about how they're feeling about their careers, it's wild, because people are feeling about as pessimistic as they've felt since like the Great Recession. So if you think about that, I would say we're not there. Don't look for a dream job. It probably doesn't exist, but do try to get your foot in the door and say yes to an opportunity, even if it's not like in the place you really want it. Who cares? Just say yes. Get in there, start working.
All right, Jill Schlesinger with CBS News Radio going away. Jill, our next installment will be our last. So let's have a little fun next Monday, okay?
Oh, you bet. I'm game for that.
Love it. Jill Schlesinger here on KIRO News Radio.
I can't believe next week will be our last week with Jill.
And CBS News.
It's a bummer. It's 7:23, also a bummer. Traffic this morning, Chris Sullivan.
Yeah, it is. And I spoke too soon.
Uh-oh.
So once again, I've been had.
Uh-oh.
But I'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's go with the positive. We need some positive right now. We've picked up 25 minutes on northbound I-5 through this car fire scene in Fife. All lanes have reopened, so we're down to about 35 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way, which I know is still terrible, but it's half the delay of what it was just 15 minutes ago, so we're getting there. There's no need to bail at 7:05. Get off into downtown Tacoma. And Jenna, one of our KIRO listeners, let me know that there's actually a crash on northbound 509 just across the Foss Waterway. So one of our primary detour routes is also now kind of messed up. So please, no need to divert. Just stick with I-5. Take the pain. You'll lose more time now trying to get around this than you will just sticking with there and listening to Seattle's morning news. Once you get through that, Federal Way to Seattle's running about 45 minutes. Now, it looks like I did speak too soon about the signals malfunctioning at East Marginal Way. For a while there, we were getting you across the First Avenue South Bridge in pretty good shape. It seemed like the cycle had returned to normal. Now it has kind of gone back the other way, and you're just sitting there waiting for the light to turn at East Marginal with nobody coming. And so try to stay off that if you can. Waiting to get more information from SDOT. Renton to Bellevue is about a half an hour out of the north end. We have hour drives. Nothing to shock you there. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season, presented by T-Mobile, that is. First show, May 29th. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks.
Forecast looks nice and sunny today. A high of 69 in Seattle. Warm up, pushing 80 tomorrow. Showers by Wednesday. 55 right now downtown.
And coming up, murder at a popular tap room in Lake City. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey will have all the details. And the 7:35 commentary coming up next here on Seattle's Morning News.
Well, your morning falls apart when your closet doesn't work, your pantry's jam, your garage is useless. Most homes are never designed for real life. But Closets by Design is not just closets. We're talking garages, pantries, laundry rooms, My home has a home office and wall bed from them, all custom built in Kent, nothing off a shelf. Everything finally has a place. And for a limited time, 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get your project started today.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating. At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
If you're a homeowner looking to replace your comfort system, there's only one call you need to make. That's to Home Comfort Alliance, especially right now. As a Carrier Factory authorized dealer, they meet the highest standards for training, installation, and customer satisfaction. John Curley here. Efficiency, reliability, and quiet performance matter. Right now, when you upgrade to a Carrier cooling system, you get a heating system free. And they make it so easy with a 60-second price estimator. Visit homecomfortalliance.com now. That's homecomfortalliance.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Camping World Ultimate RV Show is coming to Angel of the Winds RV Resort in Seattle. Parking and admission are free. Join us May 14th to the 17th to shop special show pricing on over 200 fully staged new and used RVs. Get an exclusive first look at new models. Check out the latest gear and accessories. Bring the family to enjoy our Kids Zone and enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Ultimate RV Show in Seattle, May 14th to the 17th. We'll see you there.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's cars with a K.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:31. Police are investigating a deadly shooting at a well-known Seattle tap room where an employee was killed over the weekend.
Detectives are looking into whether the suspect tracked the victim inside the business before opening fire. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
So this happened at Growler Guys, which is at 85th and Lake City Way, right across the street from the Maple Leaf Tiny Home Village. The owner of Growler Guys, Kelly Dole, broke down as he shared more about the victim with KIRO 7 TV. This was a young man in his 20s who a lot of people knew by his nickname, Q.
He and his friends, including my son, the rest of them, they're about as tight-knit a group of young men that you'll ever find. And him, he was a key part of that.
Dole also says Q closed the tap room Friday night and then left. Their website says their closing time is around 11 o'clock on Fridays, but he came back, police say, to the business several hours later. He may have been followed, they say. He was shot inside the business, although they don't know if that was in the building part or the beer garden area. Here's Seattle Police Detective Eric Munoz.
It's an incredibly traumatic thing. I can't even imagine what the family and what this area is going through. This is like a neighborhood staple. It's a very well-known, respected place. So this is a very tragic, obviously, Saturday morning for all of us.
SPD is looking at surveillance camera footage right now. So far, no arrests. Sad morning for us here in Seattle. 2 young people killed over the weekend, including a female student at UW, at a UW apartment complex. We're going to have more on that story coming up at the top of the hour.
Luke Ducey, thank you. It's 7:33.
And that's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. And here's Chris Sullivan.
All right, let's go focus on the positive. We're almost there. We're getting there through Tacoma and Fife. After a long-term car fire that basically shut down the freeway, we're back down to about 28 minutes to go from Tacoma to Federal Way, which is only about 12 to 15 minutes behind schedule, which is positive. I know it's still terrible, but if you're getting on the road now, that's not bad. For a while, it was running an hour on that drive. So we're getting there. 509, 99 are also probably no-goes for you. Just stick with the freeway. No need to divert. No need to divert to 5012 as well, even though that's seen a little extra volume. Once you get through this, Federal Way to Seattle now up to about 50 minutes as now that volume is moving through. Valley Freeway about 45, relatively average. Renton to Bellevue 35 as well. Still haven't figured out the traffic issues, the signal timing issues, I should say, at East Marginal Way and the First Avenue South Bridge. We're still seeing lengthy delays. Only about 25 cars are getting through northbound, so SDOT is still working on that. Coming down from the north end, a relatively average day for you guys, about an hour and 15 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. And
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
$15 in that express toll lane, about 15 minutes faster on I-5, an hour from Everett to Seattle. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio app. Listen to your favorite shows. Get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
Well, the weather is nice today. Mostly sunny, 69 the high. Overnight low right around 50 tomorrow. We're going to heat up. Partly cloudy, 79 for tomorrow. And then things will change overnight Tuesday. The clouds roll in. Likely some showers on Wednesday morning and cooling back down to around 70. Right now in Seattle, the sun is shining. It's 55 degrees.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
And it's time for the 735 commentary. There are 8,630 homes listed for sale across the Seattle metro right now. In a normal April, that would be about 4,600. Nick Gurley runs a real estate analytics firm called ReVenture. He posted that data on X yesterday. Inventory has nearly doubled. King County values are already down 2.5% year over year. The typical Seattle Metro home is still right around $1 million. If you want to break that down, the monthly mortgage payment on that runs somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 a month. So that's $84,000 to $96,000 a year just on the mortgage. The median household income around here is about $112,000 before taxes. After deductions, take home somewhere between $85,000 to $90,000 a year. So the mortgage on a typical home eats virtually everything that household brings in. So it isn't regular people cashing in on a hot market. Regular people still can't afford to buy. Some are downsizing. Some are leaving the state entirely, headed to Austin, Nashville, anywhere the math works. This state built its tax base on tech paychecks. We don't have a traditional income tax. We fund ourselves through a sales tax, the B&O tax, capital gains tax, among other things, and, of course, the new millionaire income tax that just got signed. All of this depends on healthy, active, high-earning workforces. So when a software engineer making $200,000 leaves Seattle for Nashville, Washington State loses a sales tax on everything they buy. We lose the revenue tied to their employer. We lose capital gains when they cash out their stock somewhere else. You multiply that across thousands of departures, and the math gets ugly fast. Now, layer on what every American family is feeling right now. Inflation that won't quit, grocery bills that doubled, never came back down, Iran war, and higher gas prices. Washington families are dealing with all of that on top of property taxes that keep climbing, Climate Commitment Act surcharge that's stacked on top of one of the highest gas tax rates in the country. So that's the picture. Tech paychecks shrinking, inflation eating savings, gas prices climbing again, mortgage math that does not work for normal earners. And Olympia has spent years adding programs, expanding commitments, telling voters that the revenue would be there. McCleary, Medicaid, homeless services, transit, Climate Commitment Act. Every one of those was written assuming the tech economy would keep producing the tax base to pay for it. Well, that assumption is getting stress tested in real time. Moody's just gave the state a negative outlook. State ranks dead last in the country for financial reserves. Last. We've been running on fumes while making long-term promises that depend on the good times rolling forever. And when a state's credit outlook drops, the state pays higher interest on the bonds that fund roads, schools, public projects. Same road, same school, just costs more. Washington has told itself for years, we're different, that the tech economy insulates us, that the revenue base is deep enough to absorb whatever comes next. Now we've doubled the state budget, stacked obligation on obligation, and we're sitting last in the country in financial reserves. The cushion is gone. The tax base is packing up. Washington has seen downturns before. Boeing in the 70s, .com in 2001, the 2008 collapse. We got through all of them with a fraction of today's spending, none of today's long-term commitments, and none of today's programs. This is what the front edge of a recession looks like in a state that prepared for the opposite. And that's a 7:35 commentary for Monday, May 11th, 2026. You can text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line 888-973-5476. Join the chat on our YouTube Live. YouTube is back and running this morning at KIRO Newsradio, and you can leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
There have been a few ghosts in the machine this morning.
For sure.
7:39, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're still struggling getting into and through the Tacoma area. That's going to be the result of a long-term car fire. We'll give you all the information coming up next.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Renton police investigating a shooting that happened just after midnight.
Engaging conversation.
It's just indefensible. The mayor's communications team should be better.
Traffic.
A full closure now, southbound 509 at Alexander Avenue.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHAP.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-213-5757. That's 800-213-5757.
7:43 on a busy Monday morning for Mr. Chris Sullivan.
And for our drivers as well, really. I mean, I'm here in a nice, comfy studio with you guys. They're out there fighting and watching their gasoline slowly go up in fumes. Let's start in Tacoma, primarily right there at Highway. So from 16 up past the Dome, we're still bumper to bumper, including in the CD lanes and the main line. After a long-term fire we had in Fife, for a while, almost the entire freeway was closed. For almost an hour, really, this morning for that, and we're just still dealing with it. 30 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way, I know, is still a 15-minute delay, but it's way better than where we were. By the way, it looks like we do have a medical emergency now on westbound 16 right there as you get away from I-5, so I'm hoping to get more info on that. A lot of people still bailed, went over to 512, and that's why it's bumper to bumper from Canyon, little gap before the South Hill, and then all the way down across the Puyallup River, so about a 15-minute delay going from I-5 down into Puyallup on that particular corridor. And then the Valley Freeway is about 45 minutes. About 50 now, maybe a little bit more from Federal Way to Seattle as we continue to see more brake lights past the West Seattle Bridge. This is now all the traffic that was stuck in Tacoma is now finally making its way through. Lake bridges are fine. Coming down from the north end, kind of an average day, hour and 15-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour from Everett to Seattle. And a reminder, if you're on 405 and you need to get off at 85th and Kirkland, you can't. That interchange, 85th and Kirkland, the entire interchange is closed. You can't get off at 85th. You can't get on 405 from 85th. Construction is running long. We really don't have an estimate on when they're going to get that reopened. They ran into some groundwater issues while doing the construction over the weekend, and that just pushed the project behind. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Considering a new Lennox cooling system before summer? Get a price estimate on your phone in 60 seconds. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Our forecast, well, that's nice. It's going to be sunny and pushing 70 for today. Overnight low right around 50. Tomorrow, up around 80. Just a one-day heat-related thing. And then we'll see some clouds roll in overnight showers by Wednesday morning and back to around 70. Right now in Seattle, we have sunshine and it's 55 degrees.
Coming up, the Trump administration says they might pause the federal gas tax. We'll talk about it with News Nation's Marcus Espinoza about it next on Seattle's Morning News.
Remember when you used to wake up ready to take on the world? Lately, Not so much. The brain fog, the exhaustion, that feeling like you're just not you anymore. Well, it's not your imagination, and you do not have to keep pushing through. At Juvacor Health and Wellness Center, hormone replacement therapy starts with something you won't find online, a real conversation face-to-face with a female provider who genuinely gets it, led by Dr. Lucy Hofstadter, a board-certified physician. Her team has spent the last 7 years specializing in one thing, helping women feel like themselves again. It's their focus. It's what they do. Your care is driven by labs, by listening, and by a personalized treatment plan that's dialed into your body and your life. And they follow up. This kind of care has to be personal. With convenient locations now both in Tacoma and Bellevue, Dr. Hofstadter's practice has expanded from the flagship location, Seattle Regenerative Medicine Center in Bellevue, to Tacoma. You deserve a provider who makes the uncomfortable conversations comfortable. Reach out today at juvacorehealth.com. That's JUVECORE health.com and feel like yourself again.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Some people out there love to do things entirely on their own. Others ask for help and trust their resources. When involved in an auto accident, you've got the choice of dealing with insurance on your own or hiring an attorney. I'm joined in studio by Harold D. Carr. He represents Harold Carr Law Offices. Harold, what's one of the main reasons for seeking representation?
If you were to look at statistics, most people end up with a lot less recovery when they don't have a law firm representing them.
And why should they hire Harold Carr Law Offices?
We're not shy about bringing lawsuits. We do try to settle, and insurance companies know that. They know that we're fair in how we talk to them. The answer is really, we are very professional. But we've had cases, big and small, where we've had to take it into litigation, and about 98% of those will settle in mediation. A lot more than the client originally expected.
Visit carlaw.com. That's carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call Carr.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Good morning. It's 7:49. The conflict in Iran continues this week as the president over the weekend rejected an Iranian counteroffer for peace.
This as gas and oil prices continue to tick up in this country, and now that's pushing the Trump administration to weigh the potential of pausing the federal gas tax across the country.
Let's get some details on this with News Nation's Marcus Espinoza. Good morning, Marcus. How much would this actually bring the price down if we were to pause this?
Hey, guys. Good morning here. I'm out at a gas station in New Jersey on the Turnpike, actually, so the prices are even more outrageous. But as far as that federal gas tax goes, it would save about 18 cents per gallon for most folks out there. The issue is Congress has to enact it, and I'm not sure how much faith people have in Congress getting much of anything done right now.
And so what are you hearing from people? It is so incredibly frustrating. Here in Washington State, we have some of the highest prices in the nation. We're almost at $6 a gallon. What are you hearing from people as you're out and about there, Marcus?
I just was chatting with a gentleman from Boston who's on his way down to the Outer Banks, and he was just talking about the fact that, hey, this is just the way it is. He goes, I think it's going to prevent people. What he said is, I think it's going to prevent people from taking vacations this year. He's still doing his trip with his wife and his dog. And he said, they had it planned and they're going to do it anyways. But if you're taking a road trip, 500 miles, I live in New York. I'm from Ohio originally. So if I want to take that trip back home this summer, it's going to cost me at least $100, $150, if not $200 more, depending on how many stops and what the gas price is then. And there's also concern that the average nationwide could go up to $5 before it starts coming down. So I think people are resigned to it. There's not much anybody can do other than consider buying an EV or, just cutting trips out completely.
Marcus, if Congress were to get something done and to pause this tax, are there programs that would suffer? Where does the tax revenue go?
Yeah, that's the downside, too. So that tax is made to help build and repair bridges and roads across the nation. So it's going to have an effect on that. How long they would pause it and how long, that would determine the effect of it, right? If they pause it for a month or for 2 weeks or a weekend, who knows, right? So I think if it's paused for any prolonged period there, that tax is collected to help fund repairs and building roads across the country and bridges. So it could have a serious long-term effect, but I think the short term, I think a lot of people, in my opinion, from people I've been talking to, they'd be willing to trade that at least just for short-term relief, especially if it's during either Memorial Day or, if this is still going on for July 4th, that sort of thing.
So, Marcus, we have a federal tax, 18.4 cents per gallon. We have a state tax in Washington, 55.4 cents per gallon. We have the climate surcharge, which is going to add another 50 cents a gallon. My question, I suppose, is as you look at this story and you're talking to different experts, any idea of any states that might also be repealing, at least temporarily, their fuel taxes?
I haven't been able to dig into that much, and I'm astounded to hear how high those taxes are and how many you have in your state. I think that's the next step here. I think the federal government can only do so much, and the person that was talking about this is the Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, mentioning that everything's on the table, but it varies so differently, as you so greatly laid out, on state taxes as well. That's what is going to be hard for people to budget if they're traveling across state lines to visit family. I don't suspect many people are looking up the tax rate when they're getting into other states to fill up their gas tank, right? So, it's not really on them, and I don't blame them to, try to factor in every cent and every tax. But, that's a great question you proposed, because maybe that's the only, immediate option is for states to get on this. But other than that, I think it's the most direct way would be to simply not take the trips, unfortunately.
We're just about out of time, but has this been done before?
Not in recent memory. They've talked about it before. They brought it up before. But again, with Congress, there's just it's so hard to get anything done. It has to be enacted through Congress. So every time gas goes up to $5 nationally, that's when everybody starts sounding that alarm, right? I grew up in 2006 was when I got my driver's license, when I was 16. Gas was $5 a gallon back then because of everything that was going on in the recession. I could see none of my friends. So every time this happens, when you're 16, you make $4 an hour, $5 an hour back then at a fast food joint. But my point is that every time gas gets to that point, this gets brought up, but it rarely ever gets put into effect. And so I'm not exactly optimistic that this is even going to happen.
Yeah, I don't even think we could get Congress to agree that today is Monday.
No.
So, all right. Marcus, thank you so much. Marcus Espinosa from News Nation.
Don't you love the reaction we get when we say how much we're paying?
It costs how much?
All right, let's check traffic. Burning fuel on the roads this morning. Chris Sullivan.
And by the way, it would cost the federal government about $2.4 billion in lost revenue for the highway funds if we were to suspend the gas tax. That's about a month. So that's about $2.4 billion a month, if that's where the suspension would go, if you're curious. Looking at the rest, let's look at our commute now. We're still struggling getting into and through Tacoma after that long-term car fire we had in Fife. Still very slow from 16 and 38 up and around. So give yourself about 35 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way. Still 20-minute delay. A lot of people bailed, went to 512. You don't need to do that anymore. You're losing just as much time there. It's about a 15-minute delay getting through South Hill. And then you have Puyallup to Renton of about 50 minutes. Also about 50 Federal Way to Seattle, 35 from Renton to Bellevue. Coming down from the north end, an hour and 15 Everett to Bellevue, about an hour from Everett to Seattle. So we have our work cut out. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
A listener points out that Georgia did suspend the gas tax for a 60-day period. Beautiful weather, sunshine today, 69. Tomorrow, 79. Back to around 70 on Wednesday.
Coming up, we have an update on The Boy in the Tent. We'll hear from Christine Moreland from Seattle's The More We Love at 8:15.
The G and Ursula Show.
This was an incredible weekend.
That sun was peaking and speaking.
Weekdays 9 to noon.
I messed up though, Ursula, last night.
What happened?
I didn't turn the ACs on. Woke up around 12 a.m. Then I was looking for like a new pillowcase because we got the winter ones on still. And so I had to go in another room and grab another pillow.
You weren't ready for the summer temperatures.
No.
On KIRO Newsradio. Watch live or later on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Golden Crest Metals helps investors understand how physical gold and silver can be held inside qualified retirement accounts without pressure or confusion. Our team brings decades of experience in precious metals and retirement planning with a focus on clear education, straightforward pricing, and a process designed to put clients first. Why do investors choose Golden Crest Metals? Experience, transparency, and a client-first approach. Tune into The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels every Saturday at 1 p.m.
Hey, it's John Curley. If you're having joint pain, this will interest you. This Wednesday night at 6, Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is having a free live webinar to talk about stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
What joints have you seen really good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Learn about stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, one of the most experienced in the country with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Go pain-free in 2026. Join his free live stem cell webinar this Wednesday night at 6. Register at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. 17 Americans who were on board that cruise ship that was hit with a deadly hantavirus outbreak are now in quarantine in Nebraska. Governor Jim Pillen.
The passengers who are here at UNMC are going to receive nothing but world-class care. It's a guarantee. You can take it to the bank.
CBS's Dr. Celine Gounder says one is tested positive for the virus, another is showing symptoms.
They first triage them into high risk versus low risk. The low risk people will be sent back home to quarantine at home with the supervision of a local health department, or if there's a facility locally where they would like to be quarantined. High risk people will either quarantine in Nebraska or at home or at a local facility. And then during that period of time for the 42 days, minimum of 42 days, that may change. They will be monitored for their temperatures, their symptoms.
The man charged with trying to assassinate President Trump last month was in court this morning.
Cole Thomas Allen was handcuffed and shackled and wearing an orange jail uniform for his arraignment in federal court. The 31-year-old didn't speak during the hearing, but one of his attorneys spoke for him, pleading not guilty to charges that he tried to kill President Trump and fired a shotgun at a Secret Service officer who tried to stop him. Allen's lawyers are asking the judge to bar at least two top Justice Department officials from the prosecution because they could be considered victims or witnesses in the case, creating, the lawyers argue, a potential conflict of interest. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
A trial opened today in Atlanta.
How does the defendant plead?
A not guilty plea from Kelvin Evans, who's accused of stealing unreleased music belonging to Beyonce. It was on a laptop used by one of her employees. CBS's Jim Krasula has the latest look today at the job market.
A new poll from Gallup has found that younger Americans are more pessimistic than older people about the job market. It's a sudden reversal from just 3 years ago when older Americans were more pessimistic. The gap between young and older Americans' views of the job market is now greater than any other country among the 141 surveyed by Gallup.
For the first time in more than a decade, a top pediatricians group has put out new guidance about recess at school, saying it's crucial for good health and good grades and should be part of the school day for students of all ages. The policy statement by the American Academy of Pediatrics cites new research on why those breaks are essential for academic success and mental, physical, and social growth. Wall Street. Right now the Dow is up 32 points. The S&P is up 16. This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
It's 8:03 Monday morning. Chris Sullivan has had his hands full ever since we started in the 5 a.m. hour.
Yeah, it was just like you walked right into a bar fight and it hasn't given up yet. And I want to thank our good friend Shane, who's letting me know that just as we were clearing up most of the slowing on northbound I-5 through Tacoma after an early morning car fire, we've got a new fender bender blocking the HOV lane right before you get to the Dome. So that's why we still have that last couple of miles last mile or so, I guess I should say, from 16 and through the CD lanes there. Still slow, 30 minutes from Tacoma to Federal Way and 40 from Olympia to Tacoma. So you get a little bit of slowing getting into Tacoma, a little bit getting through. No need to bail anymore and, use a different way to get around this. I mean, it's still slow up to Federal Way, but manageable. And then Federal Way to Seattle's running around 52 minutes. Eastbound 512, very slow today. It took a ton of diversion. No need to go over there anymore. But we're getting better from Puyallup up the South Hill. And then Puyallup to Renton running right around 48 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 35. Lake Bridges still good. Coming down from the north end, a heavy day. About an hour from Everett to Seattle, about an hour and 15 from Everett to Bellevue. And don't forget, you cannot get off at 85th in Kirkland or get on 405 from 85th. Construction for the weekend running really late. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
8:04 on the Monday, May 11th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
A female student has been found dead inside a University of Washington off-campus apartment building.
Police say she was discovered in the laundry room. Police still searching for the suspect. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest. Luke.
Yeah, incredibly sad this morning. We now know the victim, a 19-year-old student, was stabbed to death inside a laundry room at UW's Nordheim Court Apartments, just on the backside of the Crate and Barrel there at U Village, just north of that. Here's what Detective Eric Munoz told KIRO 7 TV not too long ago.
She is a 19-year-old woman, and she is deceased. This is very difficult for all of us, especially here with campus police and our police officers. This is a 19-year-old student that was murdered, and that's a horrible day for all of us.
Munoz says she was a transgender student, and the first 911 call came in a little after 10 o'clock last night. If you're watching on our YouTube feed, We have a photo of the scene, but also this is the alert that went out to students from UW. We got a copy of this. This went out at 10:42 last night. I mean, imagine getting an alert like this. It says, investigating possible homicide in Nordheim Court 7 laundry room. These apartments are mostly filled with international students, I'm told, and grad students as well. The suspect still out there somewhere. Police are searching for him right now. UW is also offering a number of resources for students, teachers, really anyone who wants to take advantage. We have a full list of those resources for anyone at mynorthwest.com.
Luke Ducey reporting live. It's 8:06.
There is also a homicide investigation underway in Seattle's Lake City neighborhood after an employee at a local taproom was found shot dead Saturday morning.
Police responded to a report of a man down inside the Growler Guys. That's at 85th and Lake City Way. That's where they found an employee in his 20s. Here again, a Seattle police detective, Eric Munoz.
It's an incredibly traumatic thing. I can't even imagine what the family and what this area is going through. This is like a neighborhood staple. It's a very well-known, respected place. So this is a very tragic, obviously, Saturday morning for all of us.
Police have not arrested any suspects. The detective is still trying to figure out what happened here. You're asked to call the SPD Violent Crimes Tip Line if you have any information.
About 50 people rallied near Seattle Children's Hospital Saturday, demanding all medical helicopters be allowed to land there. The Seattle Times reports a decades-old policy only allows the most critical cases to fly directly in. This year, 73 out of 222 flights had to land at a pad about a mile away, and an ambulance drives the child the rest of the way. The city, the hospital, and the Laurelhurst Community Council all said Friday they now support removing that restriction. According to the council's website, today's meeting, though, has been postponed.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
I think we were all pretty far flung this weekend. You were out at Camino, right,
Yep.
Manda?
Yes.
Sully, you were at Whidbey playing golf?
Yeah, I went up a quick day trip up to Whidbey.
Yeah,
Holly and
beautiful.
Tommy out to play a little golf. Dinner out.
We brought the
Yeah.
trailer out for the first time, went over to Steamboat Rock near Grand Coulee Dam. Beautiful this time of year, but
Did
a lot of
Washtop
travel.
break it into pieces?
No.
Different rock.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
different rock.
sorry.
That would I don't even know what they could use to break that thing apart. It is massive if you haven't been out there. Well, enjoy the weather today. Rain returns a little later this week.
And coming up this hour, an update on the boy in the tent. We're going to hear from Christine Moreland of the More We Love organization. This is a bit of a tearjerker. Christine shares the harrowing, selfless work she's doing with those struggling with homelessness and addiction in our city.
And G. Scott will stop by to talk about why more young adults are struggling with the job market.
It's 8:08. 2 people were pulled from an apartment fire in Sammamish Sunday morning. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman reports they're in the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
A crew with Eastside Fire and Rescue saw the flames on the way to a training exercise nearby.
But a lot of times it's just being aware of what's going on and paying attention. So, yeah, this was fortunate that they were right nearby and were able to make rapid access.
Within seconds, crews learned that 2 people were inside the burning unit, as video shows firefighters pulling a man out to safety. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, and the Red Cross is helping out those displaced.
A wrong-way driver on I-5 near Lakewood hit another car head-on yesterday morning. State Patrol says a 24-year-old man from Texas was driving north in the southbound lanes. Happened around 8 in the morning. That's when he slammed into a Prius driven by a Renton woman who had a 14-year-old girl in the car with her. 4 people in all were hurt, 3 of them seriously. All were taken to local hospitals. The man is suspected of DUI and vehicular assault. Both cars totaled. The interstate was blocked for almost 3 hours.
Now more about the rock that was smashed. For years, we've told you a huge boulder served as a place for local residents in Bellingham to share messages of joy, hope, and remembrance. It was right next to I-5. I'm sure you've seen it. Well, it's broken into pieces because it was in the way of a planned fish passage. Sally Odegaard told KIRO 7 News she once painted it as a tribute to her daughter Brittany, who died.
It helps me so much, and when I think about it, I just smile. And like I said, I could feel her presence, and I wanted to do something special for her 33rd birthday and for her memorial, and I knew people would be passing by the rock to go to Silver Lake where her memorial was.
The Department of Transportation says the boulder's big chunks that remain will be broken down into smaller pieces and eventually offered to the community.
Washington's Department of Natural Resources is staring down a serious cash crunch. According to the Washington State Standard, a key account that pays for managing state timberland could go into the red by next month. The American Forest Resource Council warns this could mean layoffs and force taxpayers to pick up the tab. Some are blaming Public Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove. He paused some timber sales for 8 months to identify older forest to set aside. But Upthegrove says that's not the problem. He says the agency is still waiting on more than $20 million from sales already made because loggers have 3 years to actually cut the trees.
Birth watch at Woodland Park Zoo. 2 pregnant gorillas are about to give birth just days apart. According to the zoo's blog, Olympia is due May 19th and Jemani due May 24th. Zoo staff are monitoring both gorillas around the clock. It'll be the second baby for each mom. It'll be the first for Dad, the silverback named Nadaya. Recent ultrasounds show both babies are developing normally.
Seattle rolling out the welcome mat for World Cup visitors. King County Metro launching free waterfront shuttle later this month. Service kicks off May 21st, runs through Labor Day. It'll connect you to Seattle Center, Pike Place Market, and other places. Also stops at the stadium and ferry terminal. During all 6 Seattle World Cup matches, Metro will run extra free match day shuttles. They will take fans to celebrations at Seattle Center, Pacific Place, and Victory Hall.
And Seattle Storm guard Jade Melbourne is laughing off a painful moment on the court.
So a foul on Jade. She gets landed on and loses a tooth. That is a rough 5 seconds.
That sound courtesy of the WNBA. It happened at Friday night's season opener against Golden State. Trainers checked her out. She stayed in the game as though nothing had happened. The Storm did win last night's game, 89-82 against Connecticut.
8:12 now. Let's get a check on the weather. And joining us is KIRO 7's Nick Allard.
Beautiful sunshine today. It's going to be gorgeous with highs right around the upper 60s and low to mid 70s. Even warmer tomorrow with some breezy offshore wind. You'll feel temperatures getting into the upper 70s and low 80s. But the thing is, you will also see a lot of cloud cover. So I think high clouds tomorrow, and then that's going to lead to some rain overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, and there could even be a few isolated thunderstorms mixed in into Wednesday morning, and then a few showers around Wednesday into the 60s. And the rest of your week, you're in the low 60s and upper 50s. Wettest day would be Friday, but still mostly cloudy for the rest of the time, and even some scattered showers Saturday, getting some drier weather, though, for Sunday.
Sunny and 54 in Seattle.
And it's 8:13, time for traffic once again. We do that every 10 minutes, and boy, do you need help from Chris Sullivan today.
Yeah, you do. And it's a struggle out there, primarily through the Tacoma area. Everything else is starting to look relatively normal, but not only do we have that long-term fire that basically shut the freeway down for an hour in Fife, we're still working with this crash right before the dome in the HOV lane. You're getting by it just barely, but you have to really slow down to get around this. So we're still struggling on eastbound 16, basically all the way through Cheney Stadium and all the way over to I-5 into the CD lanes. So plan on about 45 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, and then Tacoma to Federal Way of about a half an hour. So it's totally about a 15-minute delay totally through that Tacoma core if you're continuing on up through Federal Way. And then Federal Way to Seattle's up to about an hour now. Heavy brake lights through the Kent-Des Moines Road, and then from the beginnings of Boeing Field now up past the West Seattle Bridge. We are starting to get a little bit better on eastbound 512, realizing that people no longer have to divert to get away from I-5. But so right now it's just kind of centered right around South Hill, so almost normal for a Monday. And then 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton to Bellevue's 35. Lake bridges are still good. Just a reminder, you have that new merging pattern going eastbound 520 away from I-5 today. Starting to see a little bit of braking getting through Montlake, but nothing you can't handle. Coming down from a north end, it's a pretty good drive all the way to get to Linwood on 405. And then from there on down, it's kind of the crush that you expect. An hour from Linwood, 45 minutes from Linwood to Seattle. So not exactly terrible up there, but boy, the show this morning really has been in Tacoma and Pierce County. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's Morning News.
Joining the show now is Christine Moreland with The More We Love, a Seattle-based outreach, helping so many people around here transform their lives for good. Christine, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. It's an honor. Yes.
Tell us about The More We Love. What do you do?
Ooh, what don't we do sometimes is what I say. The more we love creates pathways out of homelessness, addiction, human trafficking, domestic violence. We run a 24-hour, 7 days a week crisis line that's connected to our shelter. We support women and children in a 27-bed shelter out in King County. We call it low barrier to enter and high accountability to stay. So we are a recovery-based model that helps women and children get out of crisis every day.
Christine, we've been talking a lot in the past month or so about massage parlors and them being targeted. Stings have been performed. How much can you tell us about what happens in the city?
Oh, geez. I often have to think about it as like it's the underbelly, and it's where the real kind of terror happens with our women and our children. We were part of providing victim services for a recent sting operation on a couple massage parlors in King County. And we are there real time when the warrants are served, and we receive the victims into our care. And I think the thing that is probably the hardest just in the moment is the look in the women's eyes when they're walking towards you and coming out of that space. It's pure terror. They don't have any idea what is next. But there's massive amounts of human trafficking, prostitution in massage parlors. You've heard it in Bothell. You've now heard it in Kirkland. You're hearing it in Tacoma. And I'm grateful that our law enforcement is stepping up into this space to serve these warrants and take these parlors down, especially in advance of FIFA World Cup coming. We need to protect these women at all costs.
For somebody who's just completely unaware, I mean, what's going on in here? What happens when somebody goes to one of these massage parlors?
Well, I mean, I don't suggest that your listeners look this up, but there's something called rub maps. And on the rub maps, it discloses all of the massage parlors that perform sexual acts as a additional service, right? So these women are brought in to perform these sex acts. I often say if you drive by a massage parlor and you see that their windows aren't exposed, and that they are open past business hours, more than likely they are trafficking women. And there's also human trafficking in there. You know, people want to correlate this to sex trafficking, but there's human trafficking. These girls are working all kinds of ungodly hours for low pay, sometimes doing the cleaning, the cooking. But, you know, the parlor I just walked into had mattresses on the floor and condoms and lube. And there's no way anybody can tell me that these women aren't being exploited.
An astute observer might recognize the voice of Christine as a person we had in a recent report last year, The Boy in the Tent. And Christine was the person who was on the scene with us, and the boy who was in that tent, so filthy, fentanyl was being used inside. The mother, the father, the boy screamed at you, said to go away.
That's right.
We were finally able to get some help for this family after it had been rejected. I've been not saying much about this story because things can be tenuous, but Christine, the boy and the mother went to you for help finally. Tell us about that.
That's right. The boy has a name to me. I can't disclose it, but he's an incredible little man. I want to first just commend you guys for bringing light to that very difficult circumstance. Because of you, forgive me, I'm really honored that you guys took that time to highlight the grave need that the intervention that needed to take place to get that mom and child safe. Because of your article on New Year's Eve night, we received a call from SPD about 12:30 actually, stating that the young child and the mother needed a safe place to go, that they had been identified where they were. And we brought them into our facility at 1:00 in the morning. Yes, she was in active addiction, but thankfully she accepted our services. And I am so thankful to report that he just celebrated his 10th birthday. He is doing very well. He is thriving. He is still in our care. So is his mother. She is very successful in her recovery right now. We got to celebrate him with a birthday cake and gifts. And I can't tell you what that means because a lot of the community said things to me like, just leave him alone. he's not going to be safe. Christine, what are you doing? That kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter is he is doing incredibly well. And when he's at our space, he just says, I feel like I'm at home. He wants his hair cut. He likes taking his showers. He's a little boy, and that's just what he wants to be. Right now, he's just looking for a little carrier to put all of his cars in. The things that he cares about is what other 10-year-old boys.
Humans helping humans.
Humans helping humans.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This boy had not been enrolled in school ever.
Not to my understanding, no.
And he is now.
Yeah, we are working on online schooling for him and behavioral health and everything that he deserves to be able to thrive, and including what his mom deserves. She needs a community of incredible women who stand beside her and can call, phone and get resources with her that can help her make sure that her son's birthday celebrated. Just everything that both of them so desperately deserve. They didn't need